Okay, Charles, here's a brief overview of the whole helicopter. I guess it's noon on Sunday the 15th. Okay, this is a helicopter in one whole piece. Down to the right there, you got the Jersey Modeler fuel pump with all the lines. It's got fuel in it now, but it'll have to be drained for shipping. The log books, the two orange sleeves over there are the blade sleeves when they're removed. Got a couple of the old horizontal and vertical fins. Your 10C radio and the blade holder to keep it from spinning while it's just sitting on the ground. In the picture you can see the overview. You got the blade holder back there, the horizontal stabilizer, the vertical stabilizer, the tail blades, main blades, 700 head, fly bar. See the canopy cover with the remove before flight tag up there. In the front you can see the stub wings, the silver stub wings, external fuel tanks, extended landing gear. Go ahead and move in here a little bit. Take the covers off. And there's the helicopter with the cover off. You can see the external fuel tanks down there, the air cleaner, main fuel tank underneath the canopy. There's an intake plug for the exhaust pipe there. Just a rubber plug that you put in the exhaust pipe to keep the fumes out. Moving in closer, pop the canopy off here. Alright, so moving in closer, got the spark plug over here in the front. Then here you got the air cleaner, main tank, stub wings. These little blue things right here are the fuel pumps, which for each external, so the left external has its own fuel pump mounted here. This is the rotor brake servo back here in the back, and the rotor brake you can see right inside here. There's the rotor brake. You've got your battery right here, it's 4,800 milliamps. You never really need to charge it because the generator does that. If you want to check the voltage of this battery, this little plug that sticks off right here is your charging plug. So you can just throw a volt watch guy on there and then I'll do it for you. This little Turnigy switch down here is for the fuel pumps, so that can plug into a receiver channel and that goes directly to both fuel pumps. So all the fuel lines here. This one right here with the tiny little plug is how you fill up the left-hand external. You'll put a pair of vice grips on this side, so as you're fueling it up, it goes straight into the tank as opposed to through the fuel pump. So you want to clamp this end right here, fill it up. You'll know that external tank is full when it starts coming out of the vent line, which is the second line in the back here. So when you see fuel start to come out, this tiny little vent line down here and then up, you'll know it's full for each tank. Same thing for the other external. Then you'll just go ahead and put the little silver plug back in there. Same thing up here. This silver plug up here is for the main tank. So just take that silver plug out, fuel the main tank. Always fuel the externals first and then the main tank, because the externals do overflow a little bit into the main tank. All your fuel vents are up here for each external plus the main tank. The 401 gyro. Notice back here is a little green LED inside this little tail button here. Once you get up to speed and running, that'll flash or shine green. That tells you your generator is running and charging the battery. Stub wings are going to be removed for shipping to get a little bit less width, but they're just held on by 3 bolts here, which are kind of a pain to get to. There's 3 bolts here and nuts on the bottom of the external mount plate brackets. So those will just have to be put back on once you get the helicopter. The tail boom will also be off. That's where the belt goes in right there. Main blades, direct 700 head. You'll notice on this one the swash plate goes down with pitch as opposed to up. Shot of the canopy with my custom paint job and the graphics on it. The horizontal stabilizer, the blade holder, the painted tail blades. Moving around, got the logbook right here. It's got a bunch of different sections. This is the pre-flight checklist I do every time I fly it. It's laminated. The flight records, basically every time I fly it, I make an entry in here in the flight records. Time, duration, what I did, if there were any discrepancies with the flight. Maintenance records. In the beginning of that, you'll have a minor overhaul every 20 flights. I do a full overhaul on the helicopter. This details the inspections for that, and then every time I do some maintenance I write it up in here, and when the maintenance is completed I just go ahead and highlight it. That tells me what still needs to be done and what's been done. And there's also a full manual for the mongoose in the back. Again, here's the little blade holding sleeves, just orange fleece there. What else we got here? On your radio, I did put a couple stickers. In the back, down at the bottom, here is your throttle hold. Here's your idle up, which is only set up for normal mode. Your next one here is your gyro switch. Next one's the rotor brake. All the way down on that brake switch is the rotor brake full on. Over here, next one you got is your fuel pumps. So it's bringing it all the way down, turns both fuel pumps on to fuel up the main tank from the externals. Next switch over, all the way down is your throttle cut. So that'll shut off the engine. And I'll show you that here in a minute. In the bags here, got a couple extra tail belts from different configurations. The box is a spark plug. There's a spark plug wrench. This little white tape that you'll see, a roll of little white tape, is erosion tape. That goes in the bottom of the landing gear skids so they don't get scratched up. It also goes in the leading edges of the rotor blades. The other bag of these black O-rings are for the fuel tanks. If you ever have to open up these fuel tanks, they're incredibly difficult to get the caps back on and not leak. But if you do have to replace an O-ring because of a leak, cut this safety wire, take the cap off, put a new O-ring in there. It's, like I said, it's extremely difficult to get these caps on safety wire so they can't come loose. Then some other miscellaneous parts. There's also a 9252 servo in one of the bags that was one of the spares that came with the helicopter, so there's a working 9252 servo in there. Go to the other side now. Not much different over here. Got the receiver right here. It's already bound to the 10C transmitter. You got your muffler coming out here. There's also a spare muffler gasket in one of those bags. The other stub wing, this one will also be removed. And again, there's 3 bolts, 3 black bolts with nuts in the bottom here. Here's your fill port for the right external and the vent line in the back for the right external. Fuel pump, right external. That's pretty much it. And then the fuel pump, or the fuel cannon pump, is pretty much self-explanatory. So I'm going to swing out the blades here and fire up the engine just so you can see it run, and then I'll start another video.